What is going on, everyone? Stevo Supremo here, and I am just another game collector. And on this wet, icy Friday morning in January, I'm going to be talking about a different topic than I normally had scheduled to talk about today. I originally wanted to talk about something else, but the Y2K Collector, an awesome YouTube channel. I highly recommend you guys go check him out. There's no qualms or anything with it. I really love his stuff. He put out a video yesterday talking about how collecting is going to be tougher and easier for people in 2025. And I just wanted to put my thoughts out there on it because there is some stuff I disagree with. And yeah, just because you disagree with someone on something doesn't mean you can't be a fan of their work. I really enjoy his channel. He puts out a couple videos a day talking about collecting and the hobby and his collection. He's got a great voice to just sit there and commentate and listen to. His thoughts are very well thought out. So a great channel. I highly recommend you guys go subscribe him. And again, you cannot agree on things all the time and still enjoy content. And the cool thing about Y2K Collector, if he's wrong on something and he finds that out later on, he'll be the first to admit it. Boy, was I wrong about this. He won't try to stand on his ground and say, hey, I told you guys I was right. No, he's a good guy. And yeah, he just puts his thoughts out there and opinions, and sometimes they're wrong. But I just want to put my thoughts on what he was talking about. So just for the background fodder that you're seeing here, why you're seeing the items you're seeing while we are talking about this topic, you're seeing Metroid Prime Trilogy right there because that's actually what I'm playing right now. I'm playing Metroid Prime 2 Echoes. Then I need to beat 3 Corruption before 4 comes out this year. So currently playing the last 2 games in the Prime Trilogy before the excitement of Metroid Prime 4 comes out. And then the other 3 items you see here, the gentleman I bought the Complete in Box NES from and all those games, he still had some items left over. He sent me a message a couple days ago, or at least for the fan club magazine, a week or so ago, saying, hey, I got some stuff here you might still be interested in if you want to come check it out. So for $5 a piece, we have picked up this Nintendo Fan Club magazine with Zelda 2: The Adventures of Link. This pretty beat up copy as far as the label goes of Harvest Moon on the Game Boy Color, and the Goonies too. We needed all these for our collection, so we just snatched those up. But those will be our little background fodder here while we talk about today's topic. So again, Y2K Collector saying the reason why gaming is going to be easier and harder to collect for in 2025. So right off the bat, I'll just tell you I say go watch his video, then you can watch mine to see what the disagreement is or why I'm saying it is. But one of the reasons he said that it was going to be easier because he feels like the retro gaming hobby scene has kind of died down from where it used to been by a large margin, and that resellers are no longer out there in force like they were back in I guess COVID times, really looking to push for video games because the margins just aren't there anymore, because people kind of know what they have and they know what to price it at. And that's probably the thing I disagree with the most on what he said in his video, because I don't think the retro community has died down collecting whatsoever. If you look at this past year with some of the bigger conventions like SoCal here at the Portland Retro Gaming Expo, where near I live, it's just they were packed. Tons of people still went to them, broke records, especially SoCal. That place was just record numbers at these events. Now, those are expos, but I don't think it's really dying down. The retro scene could be slimming down as we get older in age, just due to people aging out of the systems that some of us are collecting for right now. Pretty soon you might have people getting aged out of wanting to get Super Nintendo and NES. It's going to happen just because kids and everything who grew up at a certain time just aren't going to have any connection to it. And if they want to develop a connection to it, they'll buy it out on a whim and see. But for the most part, it could die down for those purposes. But I do not think we're there yet. I think there is a lot of people still in this hobby collecting. But the main reason I disagreed is the reseller route. I think reselling right now is stronger than it's ever been for a lot of people. They are out there in full force, sucking up all the deals. I do not think they are going to shy away from video games at all. Video games are still like the number one easiest thing for a lot of people to sell. When you go to garage sales throughout the summertime and the springtime, and if you ask for video games, you're normally the 20th person to ask for them. Even in my small town, unless you're the first, you're the last. Who's asking for that kind of stuff? Now, is that going to change in 2025? I do not think so. I know here in the U.S. we have a new president who's taken over the reins, so we'll see how that affects like secondhand markets and stuff like that. He's passing a lot of executive orders and stuff, maybe doing something with the federal income tax and stuff here in the United States, but it'd be awesome if he could do something about like taxes on selling your own stuff on the secondary market. It's so crazy how you could get taxed for buying a new game, and then if you want to sell that new game later on eBay, you're getting taxed again. And then if you hit a certain amount, you're going to have to pay taxes on it at the end of the year. It's just, I can't stand it. I don't think it's right. I think it's theft when you do stuff like that. So, little political opinion out there, but it just drives me crazy how much we get taxed over here on stuff, especially our own property that we get taxed on all the time. But we'll see if stuff like that changes for resellers. So if something like that, a big deal like that could change the resale market, you might even see more and more people getting into it and even more competition for games to be sold out there. I know the Facebook Marketplace right now is a good like measuring stick right now in my area for the resellers, because anytime a deal is up there, it's so tough to get one because you got the resellers going for it and collectors. And unfortunately, I think most of the time it ends up in the hands of a reseller. Now you can get lucky like me, and once in a blue moon, it can land in your pocket and you're able to get it and add stuff to your collection. But resellers are on that app like it's their job, like all day, making sure they're scanning it, seeing if anything pops up that's going to hit their margins of making profits. And what's crazy is some of the evidence behind it in my area. Again, the guy, Kevin, I bought the Complete Box NES and stuff from, he's been listing all the other stuff online that he has on Facebook Marketplace. Now, mind you, he's been listing this stuff at great prices. Again, he knows what he has, but he knows what he's already paid for it. He's already like tripled, almost quadrupled his money from what he put into it. So he's selling things at a great rate on it. For example, he had a collection of NES consoles, 5 NES consoles, guys, 5 with 12 remote controllers, all the RF adapters, like 8 of them, 2 guns, 2 zappers, and like 3 or 4 power cords. He was selling it all for $100. That is an incredible deal for anyone who wants to resell it. If you want to resell that thing, you can make profit on that big time. But he was still getting people sending him messages trying to lowball it to get it even cheaper. And that's just the reseller way, man. They just gotta try to get it cheaper and cheaper. And it got to the point where he had the same thing with the Super Nintendo. He had 3 Super Nintendos, about 8 controllers, and all the plugs and power cords up online for $125. Again, really good deal for the amount of stuff you're getting. But people just kept pushing to get it lower and lower, 75, and just cutting the number down where it's already a good deal. And I guarantee you it's probably the resellers in the area just because they want to get those margins that much better. So it got to the point where he said, I'm done with this. I'm sick of putting stuff up here. And there's a reseller who's going to come down and buy out everything from his lot now at one price. So they're out there in full force still. So I think it's still going to be really tough in 2025 going to garage sales, or if you're someone who goes to Goodwill and thrift stores and stuff. I think the competition's still going to be there. You're going to be competing with other collectors. It is not going to be dying down anytime soon this year on that front. Now, the one area where he said it could be easier is he thought that there was going to be more, or he thought it was going to be harder. I'm sorry, is because he feels like collectors kind of have their items already and they're not getting rid of them. Like no one wants it. They have their sought after gems, so it's going to be tougher to see those sought after items out there in the wild or at shows for sale. And in that sense, I think he does have a point with some things. Collectors like me who have been doing it for a while and we're sitting here holding on to our stuff because we don't want to get rid of it and don't need to, then yeah, that is going to make it tougher because it's taking item and inventory out of the process for people to actually purchase. Like the last video I showed you guys with my TurboGrafx 16 CD player. That's just one less of those that's going to be out on the market. And with the limited number of quantities of that item, it's going to make it that much harder for someone to be able to get any of those three items I showed you just because their quantities are so limited. They're just not going to be out there to be able to get to purchase. And that can be something even with modern games, like a Deadpool on PS4. People who have it probably want to hold on to it now, and they're just not going to sell it. So you could see that happening a lot. And I agree, that could make it tougher in the long run until people are finally like, you know what, it's time to sell things. So yeah, that's just my thought on it. What do you guys think? Again, go check out the Y2K Collectors video. Give him a follow, give him a subscription, and let me know what you guys think. And yeah, I'm going to be continuing through Metroid Prime 2 this weekend. Hopefully I can finish it this weekend. And we'll see if I take a break between that game and 3 or if I go right into 3. There is some other stuff I kind of want to dive into and play right now. But yeah, what do you guys think? Leave it in the comments below and enjoy your weekend of gaming and fun.